Why is it so hard to change a bad habit? This is what we'll be discussing in today's video. Samuel Beckett, a great playwright from the absurdist tradition, he used to say that habit is a great deadener, meaning that when we live our life from autopilot habit mode, we in a way become dead, because then we are not able to experience life in its infinite, limitless possibility, because we already have a way in which we look at things. And so every now and then it is extremely important to turn on the witness mode and to look at ourselves that, okay, what's going on for me? Am I acting in my best interest? Am I acting in the collective best interest? What are the changes do I need to make? And it is from my experience that people who regularly ask themselves good questions, who are aware of themselves as a dynamic system rather than a static system, are people who can change and transform not just themselves but also collectively have an immensely positive impact on the people around them and the world in general. This video is inspired from my coaching session where a person was saying to me that, you know what, Charnata, I know that this habit is not serving me, but I am not able to break it. Tell me, what can I do? So, and I'll give you an example, and we'll be using this little bottle as a prop. So now let's imagine that this is a particular eye drop that you use every night to go to sleep. So every night at 10 p.m. something in your body craves for this eye drop because you have been using it, say, for last 10 years. And so you open it and you put it in your eyes and you sleep. And it helps you sleep. And now you get up in the morning and your eyes are irritable, red and itchy. And then you are like, okay, something is going on with me. Let me try and make changes in my life. So you change your diet, you change your exercise, you do a lot of things, but this eye drop remains, because in your mind, this eye drop helps you sleep. So now, since you believe it helps you sleep, you take it every night. One fine day, what happens? You have again used this eye drop, you wake up in the morning and you realize that you are not able to see clearly. Your vision has been blurred immensely because of the eye drop. And so at this point, you seek professional help, you ask for help. Now this is what happens to us. This was a little allegorical story, anecdotal story of what happens to us when we have a habit that is not serving us. So imagine that you have the habit wherein you believe that stress is useful. And so anytime you are before an important event in your life, say an amazing exam, say something that's important for you according to yourself, your belief, if you don't feel stressful, you feel uncomfortable and you feel incomplete. And in fact, you might feel stressed about not having stressed. So you start telling yourself things so that you can construct artificially a stressful situation so that you can act. Because in your mind, you believe that stress is helpful, pressure is helpful, it helps me perform. And so since you believe it is helpful, you crave for it. Now let's take another example. Imagine that you are somebody who is underconfident and you in your mind believe that, you know what, I cannot speak in groups, I cannot show myself fully to others, and you have reasons to do that. You hide yourself, you shrink yourself, you wear dark colors, you choose places to sit where you are in shades and shadows, you choose ways in which you can be invisible. So now this habit is a habit which on the surface you understand will not help you because you will be hidden from the world. But in some ways in your mind, you know that you chose this habit because it was once upon a time useful. So what is the similarity between all the stories that I have been sharing with you? Just the way the hypothetical example of the person who uses this eye drop every night believes that this will help him or her sleep. Similarly, you might believe stress is helpful. You might believe lack of self-confidence will make you feel safe, because then you will be hidden, and that can always remain your comfort zone, which I know can be very uncomfortable, to be very frank. So all the habits that we have, the crux, the core secret is that if you have a negative habit, somewhere in your mind you believe that this is helpful. And that is what I mean by saying that we are all emotionally and psychologically attached to our negative habits. So the fact that somewhere we believe that it is beneficial, and even as adults we might be aware that no, this has so many side effects and it's not helping me in the way I would like to live my life, we are emotionally attached to things that we have done repetitively. And so what I mean by that is that we human beings are creatures of habit. When we do something again and again, it gives us a sense of psychological safety. That is why having a routine and a structure to some extent is existentially, psychologically, epistemologically very, very comforting. And we human beings want to believe that we have sufficient control over our external reality. So when we are trying to break a habit which is negative, which we have consciously realized is not functioning or is not giving us the juice of life, the richness that we want, what happens is that the human tendency to be in the cycle of repetition, to maintain homeostasis, comes in conflict with this idea of change. So there is a fight between the part of us that wants to change and the part of us that wants to stay the same, because according to developmental psychology, evolutionary psychology, we human beings want to perpetuate familiarity, meaning we want to maintain status quo, meaning we want to maintain things that the way they are, and this contributes a lot to our sense of stability and control. But now you have realized cognitively that you know what, this habit isn't serving me. I don't like stress, it's not healthy, it biochemically hijacks my system. Or I don't like a lack of confidence, it doesn't help me show myself fully, and I'm not able to be who I am, I'm not able to show my potential to the world, and all of the consequences that come along when we live a life from a place of feeling shrunk and scared. So you have realized it cognitively, and you are convincing yourself emotionally that this is what I want and this isn't working, so I need to change my habit. Then what happens is that we somewhere face another kind of challenge, which is the neurological challenge, meaning everything that we do in the external physical world has a biochemical, neurological exact happening inside of us. So when the person in me that's habitual of using this particular eye drop, every day at 10 p.m, my mind, the neurons that are used to making this activity happen, would fire in the circuits that it has been used to, say, for last 10 years. And it has the habit of taking this up and putting into her eyes. And when she does not do that, then the neurons feel a certain sense of cognitive disorientation, a certain sense of dissonance, a certain sense of disconnection, that what happened, why is this a break in the pattern, and the system feels a bit withdrawn, confused, and maybe even anxious. And this happens whenever we break any habit. It can be breaking a relationship, it can be breaking any kind of substance or drug related habit, it can be even breaking habits of, say, overeating, oversleeping. That when we break a pattern that has been continuing for so long, our system has something called a resistance to change. And that is where we want to understand that, okay, let me witness what's happening. So as a mindfulness expert, as a life coach, I always emphasize on the importance of developing the witness in you. So one is the person that's living the life on the autopilot mode, but now look at yourself from the third person perspective, from the witness mode, that okay, what's going on for me? So I somewhere believe that this habit is helpful for me, okay? And even though I'm convinced that this is a bad habit, my system kind of believes that it is good, because once upon a time I took this decision in my life to take on this habit. So that's what's happening emotionally. Now, neurologically, biochemically, you know that okay, I am breaking a pattern and my system is resisting that change. But I know that this breaking of the pattern will lead to some sense of discomfort. All right. So now that I am aware of it, I can do something to prevent it. So, okay, what can I do in times when I'm feeling discomfort because my pattern is being broken? Okay, so maybe I can call a friend, maybe I can listen to this music, maybe I can create something. Maybe I can use that energy and direct it consciously into another direction. Maybe I can stand in front of the mirror and convince me or say out aloud to myself, why am I changing this habit or pattern at the first place? But the point of power is the point of awareness. The moment you understand that habit is something that is you perpetuating what you are used to, and if this habit isn't adding on to your life, then you also have the power, by the power of your presence, by the power of your awareness, to make a different choice. So I wish that you would become more aware and internally integrated and live life from a place of power, perception, and wisdom.